Um, so I will present, in fact, a project which will start soon next year about digitalization. It's a project led by my colleague Elena Verdolini at RFF-CMCC. And the title of the project is Disruptive Digitalization for Decarbonization. It's a 5-year project, and I will expose here the motivation for this project on an overview of the project. So, in fact, we have this challenge of decarbonization. So the question is, what would be the role of digital technologies in this context? In fact, there are some self-evident role, the impacts on the energy demand and energy efficient. I mean, meaning that you have an evident role of digital technology doesn't mean that we can quantify the impact well, but at least the digital technologies, they consume energies. They are aim also to do some energy savings, to reduce the energy demand, and also to provide some new low carbon solution. But there are also some implications that are not so obvious, that are related to the impacts on the socioeconomic variables, because the idea behind digitalization is that it transforms our society. So it will have some implication for the competitiveness, like into this new way of producing. Also about so if you produce more locally with, for example, 3D printing, what about trade? About the labor market, like asking for more skilled people or new skills. And then also the fact that if the society become fully digital, then maybe some people that can be put aside, and there would be some problem. We have to some new inequality could come from this digitalization. So coming back on the energy demand, on the energy production, on the interaction with digitalization, in fact, these impacts are not very well known. And there are some studies, but it's very difficult to quantify the impact of digitalization on the energy sector. And in fact, we can have an analysis per sector and also per scenario. So, for example, looking at the building sectors, having in smart houses, the aim is to reduce energy, but you still have to have like always energy to control, in fact, the system. And the system can also fail, so it's not clear what is the impact from digitalization. From transport, there is the question about what about the integrated mobility? So do we share transport or not? So the idea is to have less private cars, more public transport. So globally to get reduction of emissions, but this has to be really quantified. For industry, as I said about introducing these digital technologies, robotization, optimization, process controls on 3D printing, the objective is to increase the energy efficiency of industry. And usually industry is doing well in optimizing its process, so maybe that could be a win for industry. And for the energy as a whole, using smart technology to basically smooth the signal between the production and the demand, and using the storage. I mean, all this integration can basically help the system to doing better in terms of energy efficiency. So the literature is growing; it's still small. There is an interesting report from the IAE recently, but it shows like really the limitation of the impact of digitalization of the energy sector. So there is this interesting graph. Yeah. So on the x-axis, you see basically the barrier from low to high to digitalization. On the y-axis, it's the potential to energy decrease of energy demand, and you have plotted all the technologies that are aimed. And this is a graph from the OECD. So you can see that, in fact, there are a lot of technologies that are in low barriers, but low impact on the energy demand. There are some you have as many as technology as in low than in the rest of the graph. So For high, you have autonomous cars, transport. For low barrier to digitalization, for high impact, you have only smart thermostat. So you have a dense amount of technology in low, and the rest is quite sparse, I would say. And also one aspect which is not to neglige is the fact that the cost of this technology has to decrease. And here is the graph that compare, in fact, these digital technologies. You have the smart meters and the smart appliances in comparison to the decrease of cost in batteries on PV. So you see that recently the cost didn't decrease as much as in other sectors for many reasons. Now looking at the socio-economic aspects, the impact of digitalization, they are much less understood, they're not evident. So from industry, the fact that you will need new skills, develop new engineers, that will, I mean, it's not sure if it will be possible to satisfy this demand of people, skilled people. Then the competitiveness can be improved. The local competitiveness can be improved using this additive manufacturing. For buildings, you have this problem of privacy concern, so you don't know about the introduction of these technologies in all houses because of this privacy. And then also, as I said, you can have some people that are not equipped by the digitals, and then basically are behind so the rise of new inequalities. For transportation, the aspect of raising new inequalities is more like you have urban area fit well with integrated mobility, but remote areas or peripheric, it fits less in this digitalization. So the idea is that can we study these impacts and look at the fact that, in fact, digitalization and decarbonization, they can together mutually enhance and go toward a sustainable future, or is it problematic on basically the both failed decarbonization and digitalization, so on raising inequality. So this is the context of the project. So the project will try to manage these challenges so that they mutually enhance. And what will do the project? First, it will collect data on the socioeconomic impacts of digitalization. It will develop methods to link digitalization and decarbonization. And then it will develop some policies for decarbonization via the focus, the angle of digitalization. So the project is called 2D, 4D. It will focus on three technologies, on three with high potential sectors. So the industry with additive manufacturing, transport with mobility as a service, and in buildings, smart houses, ambient intelligence. So here I highlighted these three sectors, three technologies in the graph. So you see that they have all on the upper hand for energy demand potential, and then they cover a bit the spectrum of the type of barriers to digitalization, from low barrier to high barrier. So what will be the steps in the project? So the project will collect the data and analyze them. Then some narratives will be developed, decarbonization narratives, using on digitalization. And then the analysis of the data, they will provide some input from some sectoral model or modeling, new models or existing modules for industry mobility on buildings. And then they will be imputed into an integrated assessment model, doing some modeling work. And the idea is to design policy and assess them to provide a non-regret policy portfolio. So here are the methods. I mean, the first part will be econometrics, big data analytics, and expert elicitation. Then the modeling will use maybe mainly existing model on a improving them to have a digitalization. And so the outcomes, like we would like to provide new data with new resolution, like sectoral level and also region level. And then we provide this non-regard policy portfolio by identifying the trade-offs between digitalization and decarbonization, aiming from scholar to private actors and also policymakers and international organizations. Okay, so the project will start next year. Some positions are already open, so it will be. I will be happy to. I mean, Elena is leading the project, and I will be happy also to tell you more about the project when it will be start. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot. So I think we have time for 1 or 2 questions, if there are any, directly on the presentation. If not, let me move